Hello yogis, my name is Martha Miltich. Welcome to a level 1.5 class. We're going to flow for about an hour today. If you love a intermediate or a level 2 class, but sometimes you're not sure how to get into a pose or you're working with an injury, you don't know how to modify, it can be hard to keep up with that fast pace, this class is going to be perfect for you because we're going to walk our way through some of the modifications you can know for yourself. You can add them in during a faster flow or a level 1 class. You're going to just know more what to do, make it your practice for your body. So as we go through, you'll hear me offering a couple different options. I'll demonstrate more than one, and always know that you can take it down a notch to the modification, and if that's a modification you don't need, perfectly fine. Go ahead and jump into the full expression of that pose. All right, so today we're going to begin centering and grounding, coming into two options. Child's pose. If knees are tender, you might put a blanket underneath. If hips are tight, we might not come into a deep, deep child's pose. Sometimes child's pose can look like this. Another option of just simply getting down onto knees and stuff, if that's not going to happen today, let's bring soles of the feet together. Wiggle, 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 and then lean on over, finding your way into bound angle pose, Baddha Konasana. So we're letting the back of the neck release. Eyes closed, whether you're in child's pose or Baddha Konasana. So at the beginning of class, we're trying to hone in, center, find that feeling of being in your body. So we bring the body forward and together. So in your child's pose, maybe you go into full expression, knees together. Lots of different options. Feel the body growing heavy. Whatever parts of the body are connected to the floor, deepen. Let the ground take your weight. Head is heavy, back of the neck relaxing. Oftentimes we start the practice in stillness, but a little movement can feel good too. So maybe side to side. As you're here, start to notice your breathing. Have you been breathing? Shallow, deep, steady flow to the breath, or is it choppy? Without judgment, bring awareness to the breath. We're going to bring lips to touch. Tongue can gently meet the roof of the mouth. Maybe bring the tip of your tongue to the middle of your upper palate. Lips come to close. We're breathing in through the nose. Out through the nose. Allowing the inhales and exhales to lengthen. Thinking about where in the body we're sending the breath. So today's practice is somewhat focused on the upper back, freeing up that area, working our way into a back bend later on. So send the breath underneath the shoulder blades. Feel it pushing the ribs a little bit wider apart. So we're starting to breathe with the intercostals, the muscles in between the ribs. Engaging our Ujjayi pranayama. Light constriction to the muscles of the throat. The breath starts to make that sound like the whispering of the wind going through the needles of a pine tree. Good, a few more breaths just like this. Good. All right, let's start to get a little more active. So from child's pose, we're going to ease our way up onto hands and knees. If you were in Baddha Konasana, feet together, crisscross over the ankles, find your way onto hands and knees. And we're going to begin with a wrist warm-up. Spread fingertips out wide. Drill them into the ground as if you're a cat. Just give me a little scratch to your, well, whatever you want to scratch as a cat. So we're going to claw that in and then start to circle. So we're engaging Hasta Bandha, fingertips and thumbs, claw into the surface, and then that in turn raises the muscles in the palm. So we get a little bit of an arch happening in the palm, and we're going to circle side to side. Feel the weight in each fingertip. Getting both directions. So you should feel the hands working a little bit, and we're lubricating the wrist joints, helping out with our chaturangas later on. Good, when you've got both directions, bring heels of the hands together. How does that feel? Does that feel okay? Do you need to step them apart a little bit? Circle. It could feel like a bit of a stretch. That's okay. That's what we're going for here. We want to stay out of a sharp pain. But a little bit of tenderness may be okay. We're stretching. Working through ligaments, tendons. We do a lot with our hands. Good. One last move for the wrist. Basket weave fingertips together. Place that down, gentle weight. So a lot of the weight's in the knees, and we're going to circle this too, making sure you get both directions, right and left. Other way. Wonderful. From here, we're going to move into thread the needle. Spread out left hand. Inhale, right arm high. Make a fist. Circle to stretch out the wrists. Now, an option here, if knees are tender, your modification is to add a second mat or use the blanket under the knees. We're going to take our hand, bring it behind the hip. Take the shoulder and start to roll it open, belly button to spine, turn and look up. Squeeze the muscles in the shoulder blade toward your spine. So that squeeze back here starts to release the muscles in the front of the chest. Inhale, arm high, and then exhale, take it through, thread the needle. Land the shoulder, side of the head lands. Option to extend a leg. Good. Let's unwind. Open it up. Switch sides. Right hand plants. Left arm goes high. Fist. Circle. Wrap behind the back. Squeeze. Shoulder blade towards spine. Turn and look up. Find your breathing. We're breathing into the rib cage while the belly button pulls to spine. Unwind, thread through, shoulder lands, side of the head. We'd have an option to set a little pillow under the head if We had some range of motion things going on in the neck. Maybe a small blanket or pillow. Option as you thread the needle to send the leg out long as we did on the other side. Good, start to bring yourself back up. Counter twist, left arm high. Hands plant, and we're gonna do something called bird dog. So we're warming up the spine. We're gonna do a modification. We're gonna start to float the right knee 1 inch off the ground. Toes are soft to the mat, just hover. Tiny movement, we're engaging the muscles of the deep core. Take the hands, imagine you're gonna wrinkle your mat up in half. So we're squeezing the hands in toward each other. That engages the chest. Go ahead, start to slide toes away from you. Start to slide them back. We're going to add arms. So curl knee in, keep the deep core engaged, and now start to slide fingertips down the mat. And curl. I'm going to send the arm behind me, bring it forward. So I'm hoping to engage the core a little more than I might when I'm doing traditional bird dog, or the way you generally see it. Good, extend out. You can hold right here. If you'd like to take the foot, keep everything engaged, turn, find the toe, right there. Option to bring it in a little bit deeper, press the floor away from you, belly button to spine, keep breathing. Extend. Switch sides. Start to float your left knee. 1 inch, left toes soft to the mat. Lengthen your way out. Extend your way back. Feel the squeeze between shoulder blade and spine once again. Now, if your mat's a little sticky like mine, the toes might not want to slide perfectly. That's okay. It makes us slow the movement down, get more engagement. Good. This is your option to hold here. That's your modification. To take it a little further, find the toe, turn. Option to kick in, press the floor away with the left hand. Engage, engage, engage. Good, hand comes out. We're going to roll up onto knees. I'll show you here. I'm going to take blanket for knees. That's your modification option. And we're going to do a camel circle. Zip all this up. The rib muscles come in, core comes in. Inhaling, circle the arm, turn to look back. Find your center. Now it's the left arm leaning back. Core is so strong. This is a reverse plank. As you go in a little deeper, you might brush your heel. You can turn to look toward the heel. No need to get there. We can simply circle much, much higher. This is a nice, safe way to practice camel because we're not over crunching in the low back. Excellent. Bring arms up, hands to the mat. Press it back. This is puppy pose. You can see the bottoms of my feet. The toes are pressed to the mat. I'm stretching out the fascia down there. Often very tight. Plantar fasciitis is one of the problems we can have with the bottom of the feet. So this is just good preventative medicine. This is an option instead of taking downward dog. If downward dog feels good to you, let's lift it up. Start pedaling heels toward the mat. A couple more breaths here, puppy pose or down dog. Good, and we're going to unroll ourselves to plank. So I'll show it to you from puppy pose. Here I am. Unrolling, super slow. I carve out the spine, chin to chest. Bring it forward. Weight comes out over the fingertips. Claw them in. Remember how we did that in the beginning. Core is all tucked in. Exhale, back to your puppy pose or downward dog. Now I'll show you how we're going to unroll from down dog. Keep it slow. Can we take 3 breaths to unroll? Lift the heels, core engages. Start to extend out so this engages, just more deep core because we're doing it super slow. Here we are. Excellent. Send it back. Breath in. Breath out. Puppy pose, down dog. You're both walking to the top of the mat. Inhale, shimmy. Exhale. Ragdoll pose, forward fold. What can we do here? We can bend the knees softly. Bring hands to blocks. Important thing here is to let the back release. Carve out the back. Press the low belly muscles deep in. Let the head be heavy. Shake it yes, shake it no. Let it all go. Awesome. Breath in. Let it go. Unroll. 1 vertebrae at a time. Coming up, we're going to take our mountain pose, Tadasana. So our modification is to lift just to that nice range of motion for the shoulders. So if I go much higher, I get a lot of pinching here in the traps. So I'm just going to go to the right place. I don't need to leave the yoga class tenser than when I came in. Good. We're going to do modifications for side bending. Roll your palms forward, shoulders back and down. Tip to the right. Feel. How is this in your back? How does it feel in the neck? Get some release. Center. Exhale left. Inhale. Roll the shoulders open. Look up. Lengthen through the neck. Exhale. Forward fold. Option to keep knees bent. Inhale. Halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands. Option, take it back to knee plank. We're going to do a variation of our vinyasa that engages core a little bit more. We're going to lower into chaturanga. You can see I'm not going all the way down. That's your modification. Otherwise, you're coming to that 90-degree bend, and then we're just going to press it back up to plank. You have an option to simply hold a plank or engage, look up, upward dog. Exhale, puppy pose, or downward dog, your choice. 5 breaths here. Good. From puppy pose, if you're here, lift it up. Look forward. We'll walk the feet to the top of the mat. Take as many steps as you need. Lengthen. We've got blocks. Exhale. Curl and fold. Roll it up 1 vertebrae at a time. We'll do sun A once more. Look up. Find that nice range of motion for the shoulders. You can see I'm not going straight up to the ceiling. Exhale. Roll. Open. Tip to your right. You can see fingertips are moving down toward the knee. Inhale to your center, exhale left. Center, roll, open, lengthen, exhale, fold. Inhale, straighten out the upper back. A lot of work in the upper back, core is engaged. Now I'm going to take it back to a modified plank. You have an option to come to full plank. We're going to do the same thing, lower into chaturanga. And then straighten it back up. Really tuck the ribs in. Option to hold or up dog. This time I'll bring it into downward dog. 5 breaths here. Pedal, pedal, pedal if you like. Otherwise, think about lifting the toes to settle the heels back. What are our hands doing? They're engaging toward the center. We don't need the traps up here to do all the work. We're doing this, we're making these strong muscles support us, and we can leave our class stronger, less tense. All right, down dog. Bring it to the top of the mat. Maybe you're walking it still. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Bring it up into chair pose. Roll the hips back. Airplane arms. So this is your modification for chair. When we airplane the arms, we're not pinching with the neck. So if head, neck, and shoulders are having any issues, this is a good option. Also a nice stretch here. Let's float. Exhale, open. Forward fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, plant the hands. Guide yourself back to modified plank or full. This time I'll show full plank. Lower chaturanga dip. Straighten plank. Feel your core. Modification for up dog is to take it to knees as we've been doing. Option to bring it to tops of the feet now. Exhale, downward dog. Good. Right leg high. Start to curl knee to nose. Again, ribs tuck in, engage. Bring the foot through. Option to take this to a block. We're going to come into a side twist. Fist, circle. Good. Rise into open arm crescent lunge. A little bit of a balance challenge. Inhale, crescent lunge to the front of the room. Breathe out, hands plant. You have option to drop to a knee. Bring it to modified plank. This block can help make sure I don't come too low in chaturanga. Scoop it back up, plank. That's our variation of our vinyasa. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward dog. We're going to repeat this on the left. Left leg high, curl it in. Foot comes through. Excellent. Option to take hand to a block or not this time. Roll, twist through the wrist. Engage the glute. You can bring hand to the thigh to help yourself arrive. Open arm twist. Center. Feel a good stretch through the hip flexor. Tuck your shoulder blades down into your back pocket. Exhale. Hands to the mat. Front foot meets the back. Lower any amount into chaturanga. We don't want to go too deep. Press up to plank. Upward dog. Downward dog. Option to take it into puppy pose, just like this. Always an option as well to come into your child's pose. Good. From here, we're going to take it into down dog once again. And I'm going to take us through another sun salute, one more sun B. Looking forward. Maybe this time you're going to hop. What's the modification to hop to the hands? Halfway. Finish it off. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Chair pose, airplane arms. Breathing in. Exhale to float. Inhale, wings. Float. Forward fold. I've got a high hamstring injury here on the right, so you're going to see a lot of bent knees for me today. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands plant. Back to your plank. Chaturanga down. Plank. Up dog. Just feel how that's different core work than our normal vinyasa. Exhale, downward dog. Right leg's going to come high. If anything's bothersome, sometimes the leg coming high, maybe we're just going to bend instead of come high. Maybe we're just going to float an inch. Then knee to nose, bring it forward, engage, drop the foot, twist. Option with your block here. Help yourself out, hand to thigh, open arm. Forward. We're going to take it into a pose called ninja. Drop the back heel, back hand of the hip. Front arm drop, shoulder blades tucked in. Right down here, nice. Extend it into warrior two. Hands to the mat, front foot meets the back. We're going to take it through your vinyasa. Chaturanga, plank, up dog, down dog or puppy, left leg high, knee to nose, bring it through. Excellent. Find your twist, rise, crescent, ninja, back foot down, soften the back knee, hand to hip, elbow tucks down, so we're like a ninja warrior, ready for action. Open it, warrior two. Exhale, cartwheel, drop a knee if that feels better, plank, chaturanga push up, plank, up dog, face down dog. Beautiful. Breathe. Adding on. We're going to start to work with the glute. Find your right glute. Where is it? There it is. Okay. Start to float, right heel high. This is where I have my injury. This is going to be a tiny little business. Lift and lower. I don't want this hamstring to hurt or fire, so I'm keeping it all in the glute. Tiny little actions. Thinking about squeezing my hands in toward the midline of my mat. So I'm engaging the chest. Lift, soften the knee, possibly open the hip. So what's your modification? Stay here. If it feels okay, open. If you're doing well, let's circle. Lubricate the hip joint. Extend, curl, engage, engage, engage. Come forward, help the foot through that. It's our modification there. Beautiful. Find your lunge twist. Rise. Crescent. Ninja. Soften the back knee, drop the back heel. Both knees are bent. Hand to the hip. Shoulder blades tucked down. Low belly in. Press your back heel away. Straighten the arms. Warrior two. We're taking this into extended side angle. Modification to take it to the right thigh. Now we're going to twist. So hand to thigh. Twist into your side angle. Good, back into it. And then inhale, reverse. Turn to look to your back heel. Release some tension in the neck. And then we're going to inhale, taking it up into 5-point star. I'm going to do it facing backwards so you can see what's happening here. As I start to drop in, I'm going to bring hands behind me, roll the shoulders open. So I'm pretty active back here, getting a nice stretch for the chest. So lift and lower, stretching out inner thighs, option to lift heels. Keeping all of this open and engaged. Shoulder blades, we're tucking them into our back pockets. Beautiful. Drop the heels. Walk heels out, toes in. Soften. Let the low back be loose. Come to your blocks here. As an option, folding in. Find the low belly. Press it to the low spine. Carve out the lowest part of your back. From here, hang out just as you are. If you'd like a little more freeing up of the upper back, let's do a little arch and curl. Press to the ceiling, drop. You could bring hands down to the floor if that felt okay. Option to bend knees. We're in Prasarita, nice hamstring stretch, but that might not be the right thing. Play with it. Proseritas, start to breathe your way up. Inhale. We're going to take this into triangle pose. So right toes point forward, back heel presses away. So this is going to be revolved triangle. Again, I'm injured here today, so I'm leaning in about this far. I don't even know if blocks are going to help me. We'll see. There we go, hand to the block. Right arm behind my back, just as we did in thread the needle. Roll it open, turn. I've been noticing that a lot of times I have my head at some odd angle, so you can get your spine lined up. From the tip of your head to your tailbone as you're turning the neck. Take your right hip, pull it back. Unwind, deep bend in the front knee. Option to come to the bottom knee. Zip the legs together. Maybe give inner thighs a little squeeze. Lower, chaturanga bend. Inhale, lift, up dog. Face down dog. Nice work, yogis. Moving on to the left side. Standing sequence. Okay, glute work. Activate the core, tuck the shoulder blades down and back, press with each fingertip, press with the thumb. Start to lift, left leg high. How does this feel? Squeeze, left glute, you find your height. So that felt a little crunchy, so I'm going to make it smaller. And then soften the knee, start to open. Remember, modification, stay here. Maybe it feels good. You're going to open up and circle. Start to engage knee to chest. Take the foot through. This is going to be your twist. If you fall out of a pose, if you're struggling with balance, excellent. You want to go up to that edge. If you wobble, you know you met your edge. Crescent. Ninja, soften both knees, hand to hip, look forward, engage with the moment, back heel presses away, warrior two, bring it on. Side angle, this time, this side actually feels a little better, so I can bring hand to the floor, and I'm going to rotate into my revolved side angle, this time with fingertips to the floor. Side angle. Inhale, reverse your warrior, look down and back. Bring it up, 5-point star. Activate the back body. Look what happens to my shoulders as I engage the scapular complex, the scapula in the back. We're going to lift and lower. And then with that back engagement, hands come behind. Nice stretch here. Maybe 2 heels is too much, but 1 heel, that might work. Scooping all of this up and in. Activation here leads to relaxation down the tailbone, low back. All right, lift it up, squeeze, heels out, toes in, soften the knees. Roll your way on down to blocks or maybe the floor. Sometimes a nice option is to land on the hands this way so you can stretch out the wrists. Opposite of how we're doing for our chaturangas or push-ups or planks. Beautiful, we're going to arch and curl here. So I'm going to lengthen the spine and then I'm going to carve it out. Head is heavy. Release, release, release. Lengthen. Release. Find your own breath rhythm here. I'm going to start to lift up. Back heel moves away, left toes forward. We're getting ready for a revolved triangle. So this side, I've got a little bit more range of motion today. take my left hip drop back, right hip drop forward. And I'm gonna curl. Again, open with this arm, hand to hip. Soften your left knee, bring yourself forward, hands to the mat. Find your variation of plank. Lower chaturanga, push it back up, engage, engage. Flip to your up dog, downward facing dog, puppy pose, or child's pose. There you go. Breathing here. Good, become more active, returning to downward dog if you're not already there. Look forward to the top of the mat. Again, we'll do a modified hop. What are we gonna do? We're gonna come halfway. Walk at the rest. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Have 2 blocks available to you. Inhale, start to lift it up. We're gonna go into figure 4. One option to modify is right ankle over left, send it back just like this. You wouldn't need the blocks. Another option, ankle over thigh and starting to sit down and back, hands 2 blocks. This can give you more stability, better balance. If you're in an environment where you can use the wall, this could be done like a wall sit. Where is my wall? There we go. And then you can play, move 1 inch forward. Do I have my balance? Oop, I lost it. Here I go. So that allows you to develop this a little bit more. So lots of ways to do it. You want to make it a little more advanced? We might try a twist. I'm going to bring my right hand to my arch, turn and look. Maybe this is going to happen. 3, 2, 1. I'm going to bring hands to blocks. Start to tuck my right knee in and then kick it up as my head lowers. So we're doing a little modification for standing splits. So I'm going to curl and extend. Curl, extend. Each time I might get a little deeper into my standing split. So one really important thing in standing splits is how much it strengthens the hips. Getting that engagement to happen is actually even more important than the flexibility of really going deeply in. So we're going to hold here. This foot might creep higher. You might find you've got the flexibility to bring hands to the floor. The important thing is to find your edge, stay within that. Good, take it on, back. Left hand plants, full engagement, so engage it. Big out wide, claw the fingertips in, engage with the arch. We're coming into a side plank. Option, we're going to add some strength. I'm keeping the bottom knee down, but I'm letting the hip do some work. If wrists, if wrists have had it, here's another option. Breathe here for 3, 2, 1. Bring it to forearms. You might press it to simply child's pose or down dog. Option to do our core vinyasa. Up dog, down dog, or puppy. Enjoy 5 breaths. Lift it up, look forward, find your way to the top of the mat. Inhale, fold, rise. Curl knees up toward the chest. Strong through your right foot, ankle over ankle variation. ankle over thigh with the blocks. Option to bring this to a wall as we looked at before. If I take it over to the wall, it might make it a little easier for me to try my twist. Breathe out, find your center. Have your blocks available. I'm going to bring knee to chest. Get this all to activate. Start to drop down, creating great strengthening for my right leg. Curl it in, strengthen up. Curl, strengthen, and find your length. Let's do one more curl, and then we're going to float. You might notice that this glute is getting a nice little squeeze. That's another nice variation about having the leg bent, so you can get that glute squeeze. And again here, this is the side that I'm working with that injury on. Beautiful stretch for the IT band. And I'm not going into pain, so that high hamstring is not giving me pain right now. I've got a nice alignment, the pelvis is nice and aligned, hips are even, building strength. Let the head drop though. Good, step it back. We're going to move into our plank. This time it'll be left arm high. So spread right fingertips out wide. Turn. Float the leg. Option to be down here. 3, 2, 1. Bring it all the way back to your child's pose, or lower, lift, up dog, puppy pose, or downward dog. 5 breaths here. All right, so from here we're going to take it to knees. Walk it forward, we're going to come into forearm plank. I'm going to turn it around. Palms down. So this is actually going to be a dolphin forearm plank. Palms are down, belly button's hugging into spine. I don't want to overly drop my hips, I want to keep them floating. Pressing the knees into the mat. I'm going to start to engage and float my right leg, set it down. Left leg, set it down. So this is some modified core work. I had a core injury many years ago, but core separation, and so that means I've really got to engage and strengthen, but in ways such as with this to bring that level of activation for my core down. So I'm actually working it, not straining it and kind of overworking other muscles and skipping the deep core that really needs that strengthening. Let's do 2 more on each side. Go ahead, press it back. Keep the palms to the mat. And then we're going to lift it up. So this is going to be our dolphin pose. Maybe it looks like this for you today. Carving out the chest. Rounding in, kind of like a cat-cow. It look like that. Strengthening it, we'll be lifting up, holding right here. Extra credit. Start to raise the right leg, kind of like we did in standing split. Weight in the shoulders. Breathe here, building strength. That's on the other side if you're doing this. Take it down. Child's pose, 5 breaths. If you're getting tight up here in the shoulder, let's just maybe give a little massage. Think about relax, 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 ease. All right, good folks. I always like to make sure everyone gets a little core work before class is done. I think working with the core, particularly if you had a core injury, is the best way to modify a class because you actually develop your practice from the inside out, so you're not hurting yourself or creating new problems by trying to do your yoga without this stuff really, really working. So what we're gonna do is something called opposite shoulder taps. I'm gonna take it to knees. You can always take this to full plank. This is our modification. Now I might simply hold here, but what I'm trying to do is get a little bit of cross-lateral coordination. So I'm gonna take tap, opposite shoulder, engage everything, switch sides. If you wanna add on to this, it's gonna be that chaturanga dip and lift, tap. Chaturanga dip, lift, and tap. And you'll notice throughout this class, I'm coming down into chaturanga, but I'm not going into my full 90-degree bend. That way, I'm not really cheating. I'm making sure that I'm actually using my strength to lift and lower. You may be at a different place where coming down to that 90-degree bend is perfect. You've got the strength, go ahead and do that. Let's tap opposite shoulder 2 more times on each side. And hold. We're gonna bring it through. So I'm gonna cross over, come to sit. Here we go, core. All right, I'm gonna show you this 2 ways. First, we're gonna just come into Dandasana, sitting pose. Legs straight, press palms down, lengthen up through the spine. Good. Now I'm gonna tuck my toes and come into an upward facing tabletop, whatever that looks like for you. Beautiful stretch for the hip flexors and the chest that we've been working and working. So our core work is to exhale, bring this through, slide back, and as if you could slip a piece of paper under your bum, you're holding. Take it into upward table. Well, that's a whole lot of jazz. If that was a bit tricky, we're gonna bring hands to blocks. Press up. Good, exhale, bring it back. See if you can float the hips using the blocks to press down and away. If wrists are bothering you, come to fists. Scoop up with the low belly. Belly bent into spine. Activate, activate. Lift and lift up. Exhale, swing back. Let's do 3 more of those. Press up, pull back, lift, lower. So good, set it down. We're gonna take it into boat pose. So we've done deep core work. When we were doing our push-ups, we did some movement core work. Now we're gonna try to get our side oblique. So I'm gonna float the feet and we're gonna scissor. Right leg comes high, turn. Center. Left leg comes high, turn. Find your center. If the scissoring's not working, let's modify by simply bringing a hand behind us and looking. Center. Building that deep internal strength. That's what we really want. That's what we need. Mental, physical, emotional core strength. Finding your center, being centered amidst the chaos, no matter what's going on. We're strengthening that right now. Let's hold and breathe in boat. Excellent. Cross the knees, take it back. Downward dog. Right leg's gonna come high, soften the knee. You're gonna stay right here. So here, here. If you want to play with flip your dog, soften the left knee. Right foot comes behind you. It's kind of like our upward table, only one-armed. You can do it. If you want to take a little deeper, extend, left foot away, flip your dog. Exhale, hands to the mat. We're getting ready for pigeon pose. Right leg's gonna come high. Knee comes behind the right wrist. Pigeon. Oh my goodness, sometimes we've got so much tightness going on. I'm gonna demonstrate with the bolster. I'm gonna set that under my hip. How does that feel? Terrible, it's sliding. Okay, maybe a block. Now I can get a beautiful hip flexor stretch. On the left, option to bend the back leg, reach for the toe. Now if that option seemed like it took it up 5 notches instead of 1, bring it back here. And then exhale, we're going to bring it down forward to the mat. How does this feel? We can bring the mat to us by finding something to put our forehead on, a bolster, a block. I want to ask yourself, if I had set a dinner plate on my low back, which I never would do, but if I had, is my dinner tilting off to one side or the other? If I'm finding I'm in a big tilt, I want to prop myself until my pelvis is relatively even. Let each exhale relax you a little more deeply. All right, now we're breathing in. We're starting to lift ourselves up. I'm going to move my prop. Take it into 3-legged dog. So lift, shimmy, shake. Ease that out, left leg high. Knee behind left wrist, drop in. Different sides have lived different lives, so how does this feel? Option to prop. Usually we want to keep it pretty even if maybe one side is more flexible than the other. If you're not dealing with a specific current acute injury, you might want to, the flexible side might have to kind of wait for the tight side to catch up. So you'll see me here, I'm going to demonstrate the same with my block under the hip, but again, I could use bolster, could use blanket. Sometimes, at least today, I'm liking the block because it just feels a little more sticky, like it's not going to slip. Okay, now we practice getting the back toe. A way to do this would be to use a strap. If the back toe just was too far away. When we walk and run, we get a lot of tightness in here, so release, release, release. Let go. You're doing beautiful work. Let go of the back foot. You can stay with your pigeon up high. Or walk her down, finding support for the head, maybe forehead's coming all the way to the mat. Surrender the back of the neck. Feel the breath moving through the backside of the body. Can you expand into your ribs? I know when I'm stressed, I breathe up here in my neck. Can I bring the breath down here? Yes, I can. All right, I'm going to ease my way out of this. We're going to do our flip dog or modified flip dog on the other side. For safety reasons, I'm going to move this strap. Excellent. Left leg's going to go high. High meaning a relative thing here. Or here. If you're going to play with me, bend the right knee. Bring your left foot behind you, turn. So it's like that upward facing table we did before, only on one arm. We worked on our flexibility, our breathing right here, let that release. If you want to go in a little deeper, extend your right foot away. Exhale, turn it back over. We're going to find our way into downward dog. And I'm going to hop it halfway up the mat. You can walk it or hop. Here we are. Sinking down. Come to a seat. We're going to do our final twist sitting. Marichanasana A. Left arm around my right leg. I want to keep my spine nice and straight. If hamstrings are tight, leaning on back. That's the modification. Turn, look behind you. Engage with that twist. Surrender with that twist. Sweet, bring it forward. Okay. Here's our modification, is to simply flop forward over the right knee. Another modification might be to keep this leg bent. Maybe the hamstring is just not loving that. Think about releasing the back of the neck, maybe waving side to side. If you were to want to go deeper, scoop our right hip up off the floor, wrap left arm around the thigh, hands might meet behind you. Might use a strap. Surrender on your exhale. Breathe in your powerful intention on your inhale. Good. Switching sides. Right leg's going to come out long. Now this side I'm really going to modify. This is where I've got my tight hamstring today. So I'm going to lean back, take it into my twist. And then forward, draping my arms over my left leg, drop the chin, ease it side to side. Again, option to bring the bolster underneath, and I'm not going to show the arm bind just because I've got that. I'm not going to want to do that on the right side today. And sometimes you'll notice when propping, it doesn't work. That feels worse. There goes that. Good. Both legs come straight in front. Make sure you're centered on your mat. We're going to carve out the belly. Ease our way on down, have a block, bolster, or blanket handy. Here we go. Arms can help support you as you arrive. We're going to come into bridge pose. If knees are tight, you'll keep the feet a little further away from you. If knees are okay, bring them on in. Start to roll up into your bridge pose, stretching the front side of the hips. Breathing in, breathing out. Modification is to settle yourself onto your block, legs up the block. This is a modification for your plow pose. Stay there, enjoy, relax. If you've got a little more room to play with, but plow pose is too much, let's walk the shoulders in. Get some nice activation through the back, body, upper back. Kick up, maybe lift the heels, get some height, hands to the low back. Lift one leg at a time. I might adjust the hands a little bit. So now I'm in inverted pose. I'm not quite as high, not quite as much going on in the neck and shoulders, but I'm getting that beautiful inversion, and I'm getting a little bit of the thyroid stimulation that comes with shoulder stand because my neck is more at an angle. Either one, 3 more breaths. If your legs are on the block, start to drop toes toward the wall behind you. If you're here, same idea, toes behind you. Block people or low back, hands to the low back people, soften the knees. Modified ear pinning pose. Walk the shoulder blades apart. If you've got the block, you'll bring feet to the mat. Lift up. Move the block. Modification for fish pose. We're going to walk hips up, land on the wrists. Maybe open shoulder blades a little bit. Just that weight on the wrists can be nice traction for the wrist joint. Bring a little bit of fluid. Fresh blood flow into there. Awesome. Let that go. Happy baby. Modification is hands behind the knees. Otherwise, you're getting outside edges of the feet. Rock it side to side. We have arrived. Let's find something to rest under the head. Maybe a block if that's comfortable. Some blocks are firmer than others. Bolster, blanket. If it feels better in your body to let the head simply rest down on your mat, do that. As you get set here, think about what you want arms doing. One option is to do our goalpost shaped arms. So while you're resting in your Shavasana, you can be getting a release for your shoulders and chest. Legs can be down straight, toes pointing toward past and off the 2 corners of your mat. Another option, soles of the feet together, releasing inner thighs. As you move into your Shavasana, melt the forehead, eyes closed, relax the cheek muscles, lips, neck, shoulders, ribs, hips, knees, ankles, feet. Full body relaxation. Arriving on your mat. Completely arriving and surrendering. Let the mind relax. Let go of thinking. If thoughts start to bubble up, maybe try our mantra. Peace begins with me. And repeat those words silently, setting an intention that you can take with you off your mat. Peace begins with me. Beautiful yogis. Surrender. Stay in Shavasana 1 to 2 minutes, up to 10 minutes. This is your practice. Thank you all for joining me today. As you surrender deeper, I salute you. The teacher and light in me honors and bows to the teacher and light in each of you. Staying here in your Shavasana. When you're ready to come out in your own time, send this greeting back to me. Namaste.